Good morning, children. Now, my dear children, do have the detective yearn, the detective urge in your mind? Do you like the detective novels? Are you interested in the mystery type of the short stories or the novel? Are you preparing for class 12? Then this is the right place. So let us start it in English. So we'll be starting with lesson number 7 of Vistas book, and this lesson actually talks about a mysterious chapter, mysterious plot, and we'll see this lesson. Okay, now my dear children, this lesson, name of the lesson is Events, Tries and O level. What is the name of the lesson? The name of the lesson is Events, Tries and O level. So by O level we understand O means ordinary. O means ordinary. Means that this is the basic. These are the basic, and the other form will be the advanced form, advanced level or A level exam. Therefore, so initially we start with events. So event is called the events, the break, because he's having the background of breaking out of the jail or coming out of the jail by cheating or by duping the jail authority or the governor. So this lesson is a very interesting lesson. Here we will find the kind of the skill, the kind of the intelligence that is there in events. Okay, my dear children, let us start this lesson. So the name of the lesson is Events, Tries and O level. We'll be starting with this lesson. So before starting this lesson, it is better to know what is the kind of the lesson. Means this is called the genre. What sort of lesson it is? It is a short story. Okay, it is a short story, and this is having the detective threat. Okay, detective threat means here we will find the detective threat or detective YARN, yearn, Suta. So this setting of this lesson is the Oxford prison. The name of the prison is HM prison in Oxford. HM prison. So the governor is a very expert person, and Evans is having the great record of coming out of the jail, and his characteristics was that he was a kleptomaniac. Kleptomaniac means the stealing habit, and because of this habit, many times he was put behind the bars, and this is the fourth time, this is the fourth occasion, and as Oxford jail, Oxford prison is very much so famous, and therefore he was put there so that he cannot come out, he cannot cheat anybody. Okay, but now anything may happen, and people like Evans can use his own wit or intelligence in order to come out of the jail. Therefore there will be a battle. There will be a battle of wit. There will be a battle of wit between two persons. One, a criminal in the form of Evans, and another one, the governor, a very educated person, very intelligent person. Therefore, who comes out of this battle, who comes out victorious, that we'll have to see. So before starting, my dear children, it's better to know something about the writer. And here this lesson is written by Colin Dexter. So have you heard of Colin Dexter earlier? So did you read any writing by Colin Dexter? Colin Dexter was born in the month of September. The date was 29, year was 1930. 1930 is a very famous year, and in this way you can also remember. What is it famous for? This is famous for economic depression. Economic depression. The whole world was going through this crisis of the economic depression. At the time he was born, and he died into the year 2017, 21 March 2017 in Oxford. So he was a British writer or author who wrote a 13 acclaimed mysterious novel. He wrote 13 very much praised mysterious novel featuring the erudite and Kermode Jonley, Chief Inspector Morse. So it actually features whom? One inspector, very important character, Inspector Morse. And this novel inspired the popular British television series, The Inspector Morse. So this Inspector Morse was published in the year 1975. 1975 it was published, and after that lot of films were made, and it became the British television series, and it was named as Inspector Morse. From 1987 to 2000 it continued. So because of his work in this area, particularly dealing with the detective type of writing or the novel, he was awarded many of the daggers. Dagger means what? The prizes. The Crime Writers Association of the Britain awarded Dexter with 2 silver daggers for service of all the date in 1979 and the death of Jericho 1981, and 2 golden daggers for the Wayne's is death. So in this way, prizes and awards were showered on this famous writer because of his flourishing writing, because of his flowery writing, which is having a lot of suspense and curiosity. And the same is here also. When you go through this lesson, even strikes an O level, then you will see that this is a means to exit. This is a means to exit. Exit means what? Going out. Going out. That means go out. Prasthan. So here actually adopted it as a means of going out. It is a kind of excuse. It is a kind of alibi. Okay. Therefore, let us continue. Let us go. Let us go forward. So before starting, so we'll see that the theme of this lesson, we'll see very minutely the analysis of the characters. We'll see the development of the summary, and also we will make the analysis of this action pathways. And finally, we will be going to the question and answer. Many hot type questions are also there. Many hot type question means the questions that actually needs your critical faculties to be applied. Therefore, here we go. So let us continue. So let us see the the theme. Theme means the central idea. Theme and central idea is the same. There may be many themes in a particular lesson. So here, what is the theme? What is the theme that we'll understand? So this is actually the here who is the protagonist. So in a particular drama, okay, my dear children, in a drama you will see there is the protagonist, P-R-O, protagonist, and then there is on the opposite of it there is the antagonist, antagonist means the villains, protagonist means the heroes, hero or heroes, antagonist means the villain or villains. Therefore, who is the protagonist here? The governor of Oxford prison named H.M. Prison is the protagonist here or the hero here, and the antagonist here is Evans the Brick. So he is the antagonist because it is due to him that all the officials are put to test. All of the time they are under suspense as to what will happen and what will not happen, and because of that he is regarded as being the antagonist or the villain. Therefore, many a time there we are also impressed with the good quality in the criminal also. Here also we see what is the practical wisdom, what is the managerial quality of events that impresses the audience, and it also gives the message that we should not think, okay, we should not think that our opponent or antagonist are very little or insignificant. Means we should give importance to the antagonist also, and we should be very much alert or prepared about it. Am I correct? Therefore, let us see the theme of this lesson. The theme of the story, Evans tries an O-level, is a clever escape planned by a convict on the pretense of taking a language exam in prison. So the theme, this actually deals with the theme of the escape theme, means escapism is the theme. This is the one what you just remember, means what is the theme? The theme, one thing that we can notice on the surface of the lesson. As soon as we go through it, we see that there is a clear motive of escape from the bars, from behind the bars or from the jail. Therefore, one theme of this lesson is the mechanism that is developed or devised in order to go out of the jail. The convict, even after being caught, still has the last laugh and makes his escape possible. So, in the Newbury, in the Golden Lion Hotel, when he was discovered finally, after that also, what he actually did, he showed the audience how intelligent he was, how good a manager he was, and he can come out from the clutches or the grab of the prison authority. He could throw dust onto the eyes of the prison authority and make good his escape. Means he made his escape very possible by using his own intellect and own managerial quality, and this was Evans, and because of his wit or intelligence, he had the last laugh. So we also begin to appreciate the wit or the intelligence, the managerial quality in our Evans also. Then let us proceed. Here we go. This story also talks about another things. The story also brings out the light that one should not underestimate one's opponent. The police officers are aware through their preparation, but they underestimate Evans and his power to give them the slip. So another threat, okay, another threat, THREAD threat, okay. Suppose this is the story, and this story is made up of many of the threat, okay, many of the threat, and one of the threat, this threat, the threat is that, one of the threat is that. So this also actually talks about one understanding that we should not underestimate our opponent, because we understand that all sort of precautions were made. The officers were very much alert, but they did not understand the range of the power of events, and therefore finally they came out failure. Who came out failure? The government. Who came out failure? The governor, including the other officials. Therefore, let us see the next threat of the theme. This is a detective fiction dealing with the account of the jailbreak or the jailbot. By the name Evan, a criminal who was an expert in cheating people. The story deals with the smartness, the foresight, and the planning his escape. With his meticulous planning and keen observation, even outsmarted the prison authorities. The story deals with the clever escape. Evans and the governors pursued to catch him. Evans, with his ready wit, charm, proves at the end that things were not what they seemed to be, and one should not jump to the conclusion hastily. Lot of messages are given by this lesson. Am I correct, my dear children? So the messages are that one should not come to the conclusion, and what is a sin that could not be regarded as being the final truth or the whole truth. Okay, what appears, the appearance may be deceptive, the appearance may cheat us, the reality may be different. And another one is that we also get very much impressed with the jailbird events because of his quality. What is that quality? That's quality of smartness. The foresight. Foresight means what? That he can foresee. Foresee. Foresee means that he can see for future. What will happen in future means he is having the foresight, and he is also having another quality of planning in a very meticulous manner. Okay, with a keen observation. He had the keen observation, make the meticulous planning. Okay, he took into account everything and make the planning so beautiful, elaborate, and accurate. That is called meticulous planning. And he was the keen observer. Okay, his observation was so close, so keen, and because of this he came out successful. Therefore, this also gives us the message that one should be a good planner. One should be a good planner and good observer too. Therefore, let us proceed to the lesson now. So, we'll go to the lesson. Have you moved? Let's continue. Another part of the theme, my dear children, the third part of the theme that is developed in the lesson is that this story depicts a clash of wit between criminal and the law enforcing authorities in with the prisoner, even befools the jail authorities and manages to escape from the prison. Okay, let us continue. Here we go. So it actually talks about the clash. Clash means what? Conflict. Conflict of what? Conflict of wit. Between whom? This clash of, okay, the conflict of the wit between events in one hand and governor or the jail authority on the other hand. And the way he manages to escape from the prison. It also talks about the manners in which he came out of the jail. If the government and the law enforcing officials are vigilant, crime can be detected and criminal can be booked. But criminals like Evans can hoodwink the authorities and escape punishment as long as the officials are slow and lack alertness and wit. My dear children, this is the message to the government too. So what is the message? The message to the government is that the government officials should be very much alert. They should be very much alert. 24 hours alertness is needed. Okay, 24 hours vigilance is needed. If a vigilance is not there, if there is lethargy, laziness, carelessness, then what will happen? The authorities may be cheated or hoodwinked. Hoodwinked means cheating. Okay, may be cheated or hoodwinked by the criminal, and it will be very difficult to maintain the law and order in the state. The police or the cops are needed for what? For maintaining the law and order. And if they are very much alert, then the law and order can be maintained, and the peace can be retained. The peace can be retained in the country, in the land. Therefore, this is the threat of the message or the theme that is given by the lesson. Now let us continue. Here we go. So in this lesson, my dear children, many characters are there, and we will start with these characters. So here you see the name of the character. First we will see character number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the character. The detail of the character also there. But before going to the details of the character, it is better that we go to the in-depth summary of the lesson, and then if possible, then we can discuss the various characters. So the major character is James Roderick Evans. This is the full name, James Roderick Evans, or simply it is Evans. So we should be alert about the name. In the name it sounds to be plural, as is said there, that is to be taken care of. So he is a prisoner. He is a visitor to the prison. Okay, prison frequently. He frequently visit the prison, and therefore he is called what? He is called the jail break or jail bird. So he frequented the prison, and therefore he is called the jail bird, and he frequently breaks the jail. He make good his escape, and therefore he is called the jail break. Next character is the secretary of the examination board. So we have our own examination board. Okay, we have CBSE examination board in the country, famous one, and there are state board also, Nagaland Board of Secondary Education, NBSE. Okay, NBSE. Then there is a Seva in Assam. In the similar manner. So we are talking about that particular board of examinations in in the United States, I mean UK, United Kingdom. So this is the secretary of the examination board, and he is a higher official of the examination board. Now we are coming to the hero. The hero is the governor, is the hero. Who is the villain? James Roderick Evans, or Evans is the villain, or he is the antagonist. The governor of HM prison, Oxford, he is the hero of this piece. But many times, my dear children, will notice in the movies, either it is the Hollywood movie or Bollywood movie or any other movie, we will notice that the major character or the heroes, the champion also has lot of flaws, lot of blemish. BLEMIS is blemish, means spot in their character, means some of the weak point in their character. Our governor also had some weak point, and because of this weak point, we'll have to make analysis. We'll have to make the analysis very critically. We'll have to make the analysis of where the governor fails, whether the governor was right in the particular context we are talking about. So what is the particular mistake of the governor? So all this thing will make a notice of, and will make an analysis while we discuss the summary of the lesson. Then there are two officials. One is the senior jail official named Jackson. He is a prison officer and he is a senior prison officer. Another junior prison officer is there, Mr. Stephens. So he was all of the time looking through the peephole into the activity of Evans. Even then things went wrong. Then there is the invigilator. Name of the invigilator was Reverend Stuart McCleary. So he was appointed as being the invigilator for the examination to be conducted for Evans. Then there is Mr. Carter, who is the superintendent, who is a detective superintendent. There is Mr. Bell, a detective CI or chief inspector. Therefore, these are the various characters, 8 various major characters, and we'll see the activity of this character, and we'll also make the analysis who is better in his wit, the governor or Evans. That means this lesson is the battle of wisdom, battle of wit between the criminal and the law enforcing authority, that is the governor. So here you go, let us proceed. Okay, my dear children, now let us see the gist of the lesson. The gist of the lesson, let us see. That means we are going to the brief summary of the lesson, that is the gist. So here we will discuss the major point, and while we will be discussing the major point, we will also make it elaborate where it is needed for your clear concept. Therefore, let us proceed. Evans, a kleptomaniac, was imprisoned thrice and all the time escaped from the prison. Now he was in the prison for the 4th time, and all of a sudden developed curiosity to appear in O-level examination, which also was an effort to break the prison. My dear children, so have you heard of Macbeth? So Macbeth is the writing of William Shakespeare. And another writing is there, Hamlet. So similar type of writing. So this is also tragedy and this is also tragedy. Hamlet also is tragedy. Macbeth also is a tragedy. So here in Hamlet, the writer tells so something is so fishy into the state of Denmark. Into the state of Denmark. Means something is going to be wrong from the activities of the animals. Activities of the birds, animals, the activities and the behavior of nature, it can be understood as something is very much wrong into the state. Such is the case here also. What is seen or what is noticed is that events comes to the Oxford pigeon. Name of the pigeon is H.M. pigeon. And as the pigeon was so famous in a similar manner, the governor was also a very famous person with having a lot of intelligence. And events was put behind the birds of Oxford pigeons. Why? Because he went out, or he came out of the jail for the third time, and it is the fourth time he is now put behind the bars. And now what is a very much fishy? This curiosity. There is a curiosity in his mind. Curiosity into the mind. So what is the curiosity? The curiosity into the mind of Evans was that he was making request to the governor, going to the governor, sir, can I have some academic qualifications? Then the governor saw that why not the jail bird can be given some academic qualifications, so that in future life he can at least make his living. Therefore, just by becoming considerate, he talked to the secretary of the examination board, and then got the agreement or the consent from there, and then he said, okay, Master Evans, your prayer is granted and you can write the examination, and we are making all out effort in this direction in this case. Let us see what are the measure, what are the arrangement that is made by the governor for the examination, and how he utilizes or how he exploits this situation in order to make his escape a success story. Then let us see. The governor takes utmost care to see that he would not be fooled. Every care was taken to make Evans prepare for the examination. Now the governor was of course a well-wisher of Evans. He knew that the right to education means everybody is having the right to education, and therefore in India in 2014 this is implemented. Okay, therefore our governor also thought that yes, why not he is given that education, because there is a question of life. When he was given the permission, he was given suitable arrangement also, the suitable advantages also. A German teacher was also engaged for his coaching. But the thing is that the governor left no stone unturned, means he took every care so that there is no drawbacks in the safety and security measure. Means, so he made all sort of arrangements so that he is not cheated. He is not cheated, or he is not duped. D-U-P-E-D, duped. Duped by whom? Duped by Evans the Great. Then let us continue. He was tutored by a German tutor for 6 months. The day before the examination, the tutor wishes a good luck but makes clear that he had hardly any chance to get through. Get through. Get through means, getting through means passing. Means to pass. But Evans gives an ironical twist to the tutor's observation by saying it may surprise everybody. I may surprise everybody. Now let us make an analysis of this particular part. So the German tutor was engaged for 6 long months. He was taught, but he was not so expert in just before the examination. The teacher, as usual, wishes a good luck to our Evans. And after wishing the good luck, he told that there is hardly any chance of getting through. So ये जो लाइन है, ये लाइन ऐसा है, भगवान आपका भला करे लेकिन करेगा नहीं. Means he wished that he will be doing well in the exam, but he was telling at the same time that I think that there is little chance or no chance at all for you to pass the examination or to come out with flying colors. Means I have the sincere doubt in this regard. To this, what was the answer? What was the answer of Evans? Evans told, sir, I may surprise everybody. Means this is a mystery, okay? This is a kind of mysterious type of question, okay? Mysterious, okay? This answer that was given by him was mysterious. Means there are some hidden agenda or plan inside the mind of Evans that is unknown to everybody, and therefore he was giving an ironical twist. He was telling in an ironical manner. Means what he actually told, he actually wanted to imply something else. Therefore, let us continue. So after that, what happened? The day of the examination is drawing very near, and everybody becomes very alert, and our examinee, what he does, let's see. Let's continue. So the day of the exam draws near, and it is the time for Evans. What Evans do? Let us see. What is the type of the preparation he is taking in order to excel in the exam or to excel in his intellect or wisdom? Therefore, let us go. On the day of the examination, Jackson and Stephens visited Evans' cell and took away everything that may help him injure himself. Evans was insisted to take away the hat, but he refused, saying that it was lucky charm. Now, this part actually talks about the security measures. Okay, my dear children, this is the security measures taken by the officials. Who are the officials? Jackson and Stephen. Jackson was the senior officer and Stephens was the junior officer. And both of them visited the cell, and any kind of iron or any kind of metallic tools was taken out of his cell so that he cannot injure himself or the invigilator, just to go out, just to make good his escape. So for this purpose, this part is quite interesting. So he was wearing the hat. He was wearing the hat. And Jackson and Stephens thought that this hat may be some hidden thing. Therefore, they wanted to take the head away, but in a very very charming smile. What he told, sir, this is a very lucky head, and therefore may I request you to permit me to wear this hat. Then finally they agreed to it. Then let us continue. Even cell was barked so that the governor could himself listen to each and every conversation in the cell. So let us see this part. One microphone, okay, one microphone was installed there, In the similar manner, we wear the software in the Android phone. In the similar manner, microphone was installed there. That is called the bugging of the room. The room or the cell was bugged so that every conversation that is made by events go to the ear of the governor, and accordingly he can take some precautionary measure. Now that the exam is to start, therefore the question of invigilator. The invigilator, Reverend S. McLeary, too was searched and left him to complete the task. Stephen, sitting outside the cell, every now and then peeped into the cell. So, my dear children, let us see. So, after bugging the room, so the room was bugged, and after that, so there was the invigilator, okay, invigilator was McLeary, Reverend S. McLeary, and he was also completely searched, means his body was searched, whether any weapon or objectionable things were there in his body, everything was searched very thoroughly. And after that, what Stephen did? Stephen had the special assignment. What is the special assignment? There were the peephole. Do you know what is the peephole? Peephole is there where? In the door. Suppose this is the door. In the door there will be the peephole, and through this peephole you can see what goes inside. Means through this peephole, our Stephens, the junior officer, is looking to the sale of events every now and then, and he is observing all the activity of events. Means all the necessary arrangement was taken by the governor so that nothing goes wrong. Therefore, let us continue what follows. Let us see. The exam went on smoothly. Stephen escorted the invigilator to the main gate and looked into Evans' cell and found the invigilator actually Evans' own date. Informed the governor that the latter was to be hospitalized, but informed that he was alright and asked them to follow Evans. Thus he escaped the prison. My dear children, let us see this part, quite very interesting part. So the exam went on very smoothly, nothing untoward, nothing accidental happened. So after the examination was over, who was the escort? Stephens was the escort. He escorted whom? He escorted the invigilator, that is McLeary. McLeary was escorted to the main gate of the prison, so that he can be sure that everything is all right. After the departure of McLeary, he wanted to have a last look at the cell of Evans, just to satisfy himself that everything was all right. But he could not believe his eyes something wrong happened, some mishap occurred. Okay, some mishap occurred means some accident occurred. What is the type of the accident? The accident was that it was a scene that McClary was wounded. He was severely wounded. Blood was coming out or oozing out. Blood was coming out or oozing out from the body of McClary. Now one is very much confused. So this McClary was escorted to the main gate by Stephens. How can McClary be here inside the cell, inside the prison? So Stephens was very much confused. Therefore, people hastily come to the conclusion that yes, events in the guise of McClary went out of the jail. So from now onwards, my dear children, you should be very alert. Who is actually outside, whether it is Evans or whether it is McClary. So Evans, what is the position of Evans? Evans was inside or outside? That is our main objective. We'll have to be very much careful about it now. Then what happened? So at this particular point, what happened? So this person who was inside, who actually told that he is McClary and he is wounded by Evans. Evans went out into the guise, into the guise of McClary was wrong. In reality, my dear children, it is Evans who is there inside the prison in the guise of McClary. Now he is trying to cheat the governor, by using his charming wit. What is that? So he was telling, sir, I know the whereabouts of Evans. I know what are the particular places that he frequents. He go very frequently. Therefore, I can help you. I can help you. So who was telling it? It was told by Evans. In the guise of whom? In the guise of McClary. As he was wounded, therefore he was to be hospitalized. Prison man was called and then he was sent to the hospital. Then when the governor phoned up to the hospital, then they said that there is no person named McClary there in the hospital. There is no record of him. So at this moment, the governor came to understand that yes, he is cheated very badly by Evans. Therefore, the search operation was continuous, and the governor also knew some basic German. He took the help of the question paper. He took the correction sleeve, and with the help of that, he could trace out the location, that is the Golden Lion, name of the hospital, where in Newbury he was supposed to be there. He was supposed to be taking rest there. Then let us see the operation. The search operation continues in order to nap, in order to catch Evans. Then let us continue. When the invigilator was not found in the hospital, they went to the residence of Reverend S. McClary, only to find him bound and gagged into the study in Board Street. He has been there since 8:15 a.m. Now everything was very clear to the governor. This part is quite important, my dear children. So you see, so McClary was there. McClary was there inside the prison. It was understood So thinking that he is a McClary, he was sent to the hospital, thinking that he was injured. After that, it was known that there was no McClary there. After that, what happened? Governor sent some officials to the residence of Reverend S. McClary. And after that, it was found that, oh my goodness, S. McClary was bound and gagged. Means something was put on his mouth so that he cannot speak out, and his hand was bound very tightly into the particular street, into the particular broad street in which his residence was. Then it was very clear to the governor that, oh, the game is understood. The invigilator also is the person belonging to the group of events. Means this invigilator also was managed by events. Then let us continue. Even escaped to the prison the fourth time, but by taking the hint from the question paper, the governor reached the hotel where Evans was and captured him, and came to know how he planned his escape, and said that this game was over. Even surrendered himself to the governor. My dear children, जो हारते हारते जीतते उसको क्या बोलते हैं? बाजीगर बोलते हैं. इधर भी हम लोग को दिखाई देते हैं कि दिस गवर्नर also seems to be just like the बाजीगर. Means he was cheated whole throughout, and toward the end it was understood that he is the winner. So he took the help of the question paper, correction slip, and could finally search out the location of events, and then find out the room. Okay, at that particular time, what happened? After taking the room, after taking rest, Evans went out of the room. He was taking his comfortable food there, and then when he came back to his room, to his surprise, he could notice that every official, including the governor, was there inside his hotel room. That means he was caught red-handed. His game was over. That was told by the governor, and in this way the governor became the बाजीगर. लेकिन the story अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ. आगे देखिए क्या क्या होता है. Okay, whether he is the बाजीगर or not, that we will see who actually comes out victorious, who becomes the winner in this game of wit or intelligence. Therefore, let us proceed. Here we go. So at this particular moment, what we understand is the governor now, after nabbing or catching Evans, he asked everything like how did he manage the blood inside the prison. How did he manage? Because McClary, he actually pretended himself just like McClary, or he disguised himself just like McClary, and McClary was seen to be wounded. Lot of blood, or profuse blood, enough blood was coming out of his body. How it was possible? He was asked. Then he told that the blood was the blood of pig. And it was brought by whom? McClary. It was brought by the invigilator. Okay, who was one of the accomplice? OACCOMPLIC. Accomplice means those people who are the shareholder of the crime. Means many people, if many people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, okay, 4 or 5 people, if they are there in a group and committing the sin, they are all of them are called the accomplice. Therefore, he was also, McClary was also one of the accomplices. So in this way, he listened to the story, very closely, very intently, with a lot of interest. And after that, the prison van was called in order to handcuff him and take him back to the HM prison. So after that, the incident take a drastic twist. We can see a drastic twist. So this is the incident, and here we will see that, oh, the incident is taking a very drastic twist. So what is the twist that we see? The moment they are rid of the governor, the so-called prison officer, a friend of Evans, unlocked the handcuff and asked the driver to move fast, and Evans tells him to turn to Newbury. So this is not the real prison officer. So this is the so-called prison officer. That means these are also the accomplice. These are also the friend of Evans, and these people disguised themselves as being the prison officer and came in order to help out Evans. But our governor, every moment we see that our governor, who is an intelligent person, is cheated because he lacks some minute observation. He lacks something that he wants or that he needs to apply. The practical wisdom. He needs to apply, and because of that, because of this lack of shrewd observation, SHREWD, shrewd observation, he fails very miserably. And that too, towards the end also, he fails very miserably, because it is not the real prison officer who came to nab or catch Evans, but it was the so-called prison officer, the friend of Evans, who handcuffed him in front of the governor. And after boarding the bus, or after getting to the bus, so his handcuff was removed, and Evans tell him to move to Newbury so that he can enjoy, and he can be enjoying the full freedom under the free sky. So in this way, we see that in this bitter battle of wit, it is Evans who comes out victorious, and our governor becomes a great victim. He becomes a foil. Okay, he becomes a foil. If there is any competition between these two people, like say 1 and 2, another one compared to 2, 1, if the another one become a miserable or unsuccessful person, he becomes the foil. Therefore, our governor also become a foil in this fatal competition. So this is the main point of this lesson. Now let us proceed to the other part. So I will be reading out the summary part in brief, so that it will be the review of the lesson also. And this lesson is very tricky and also very lengthy. Therefore, you need to go thoroughly and have clear understanding. And I suppose so this lesson will be understood very clearly now after this explanation. Let us see the summary in brief. Let us see the summary of Evans tries a new level. The story is about Evans, who was also called the Brave. He got his name because he was quite good at breaking out of the prison. However, as Evans was now brought to Oxford prison, it was difficult to pull off such stunts. Oxford prison had a very strict officers and assistants. Thus, this time, Evans decided to take a long way to escape this prison. In this story, we learn about his attempt to break through the using a very clever plan he even includes his friends and befriends other people on the way to accomplish his mission. Basically, he uses O-level examination to try and break out, which is why this examination carries importance. Further, we learn about the wit of the criminal and how it helps him escape. Let us continue now. The story begins with the criminal named Evans. Evans, already famous for breaking out from many prisons, thus he is now at Oxford prison. We see that the secretary of the examination board gets a call from HM prison governor. He learns that Evans has begun with the night classes and O-level examination. Thus, he wishes to get academic qualifications. So, they all make the necessary arrangement for this same. On enquiry, they learn even has no record of violence. Instead, he is a rather amusing person. Finally, they decide to host the exam in the room of Evans and send for an invigilator from Saint Mary Max. This is the name of the institution or the college, the theological college where the invigilator could be found. The governor is very vigilant throughout, as he knows what Evans is capable of pulling off. Then let us continue. Here we go. Let us continue. Does the authority do their best to help Evans excel at the examination? They hire a German tutor for him. He teaches Evans for 6 months and even befriends him during that time. The tutor wishes him luck but feels that he doesn't stand a chance to clear the examination. However, Evans tells him that he may surprise everybody. Thus, the day of the exam arrives and his cell is being inspected. Now, the officer takes away anything that he may use to injure himself. They try to take the head away, but Evans insists, saying that it is his lucky charm. Moreover, they also bucked Evans' cell for the governor to listen through everything. Thus, they search the invigilator and then he reaches his cell to carry out the exam. An officer kept peeping into the cell to mark the show. Everything was alright. The exam executes without any trouble and Stephen escorted the invigilator out to the main gate. In Evans' cell, they find that the invigilator is lying in jar. Then let us continue. Let us just go on making the review of the lesson. They went in search of Evans, but find out that he has escaped to the prison. Moreover, when they do not find the invigilator in the hospital, they go to visit his residence. They reach there to find out that it was a fraud. Finally, the governor put together the missing pieces of the puzzle. He learns that the invigilator was even so friend, and he swapped places with him and fooled everyone. They immediately go to the hotel where Evans was staying and captured him. The governor became happy, thinking his game is over, and sends him to the prison. But however, even manages to pull off on last turn, as the prison officer and the prison van were also part of his plan. Finally, he became a free bird, a free man. To conclude or to sum up, even tries an O-level, we learn about an interesting clash between the criminal and the law enforcing officer and how a person's wit can take him very far. That means wit is very important and it can take a person too far in life. Therefore, wit or the practical wit or wisdom is very much necessary in life. So we will be discussing only two questions. So here are the questions from the main text. What kind of person was Evans? What kind of person was Evans? So what kind of person he was? He was a kleptomaniac. James Roderick Evans was a jailbird. He frequented the jail and therefore he is called the jailbird. The prison officer called him Evans the Brave. His another adjective, another name, another adjective for him to describe is Evans the Brave, as he had escaped from the prison 3 times. At present he was into the solitary cell in Oxford prison. Solitary means only, lonely, okay, lonely or only. He was quite a pleasant sort of chap. Pleasant sort of chap. He is a very amusing person who was good at imitation. He was good at imitation or acting. He was not at all violent. Means he is not having any violent nature. He was just a congenital kleptomaniac. So this is the habit. This is a habit, actually habit of stealing. From the birth he received this particular quality, and therefore he is called the congenital kleptomaniac. This is the habit of stealing. It means he suffered from the disease from involuntary stealing things. Means without his knowledge he began to steal the thing, and this is the inborn quality he got, that is called the congenital kleptomaniac. This was disease with which he was born. So we have understood what sort of person he was. Okay, we can understand everything about Evans. Evans, his wit, intelligence, his weakness, and his strong point. Everything we can understand from this lesson. What were the precautions taken for the smooth conduct of the examination? Let us continue. Let us see the precautions that were taken in order to handle the examination in a very fair manner. What were the precautions taken? Now, what are the precautions? Let us see. The precautions were, let us see the answer. The solitary cell of Evans was turned into examination room by placing 2 small tables and 2 chairs in it. Reverend Stuart McLeody, a person from St. Mary Mugs, was to work as an invigilator. The cell was to be kept locked from outside, and the prison officer would observe Evans from a peephole after every minute or so. All potential weapons such as knife, scissors, nail file, razor had been taken away. Even the content of the suitcase of the invigilators were thoroughly searched. The paper knife was taken away by a prison officer. The governor himself was to listen into the conversation in the cell during the examination. The cell was in the duing, which had 2 heavy gates, outer and inner. Both were locked securely. Mr. Jackson, the prison officer, was in constant contact with the governor on the phone. So there was the senior officer, Mr. Jackson. He was continuously contacting the governor, who is the hero of this lesson. And he was giving the feedback as to the examination, the security measure, and any point to be noted. So in this way, we can see that all sort of precautions were taken for the smooth conduct of the examinations. So some questions are there for your homework. Let me read out the questions. So here are the questions. You see the questions. What issues regarding conducting the examination did the secretary of the examination board raise? What was he to? So this is the initial time when the permission was sought or required. Then about his character, questions were asked by the secretary. to the governor, and a positive answer was given by the governor about events. Where did events go? Finally, what is the place of where events go finally after his escape? Do you agree that between crime and punishment it is mainly a battle of wit? So this is a whole lesson. When this question is a long answer type question, you can write it beautifully just by giving the gist of the story. So how he was put behind the bar of Oxford prison, and how by using his practical wisdom, just by observing quality, he make his escape successful. Therefore, in this battle of the wit, it was Evans who came out victorious or winner just by using his own practical wisdom. My dear children, I suppose you understood the lesson beautifully. So now there is because of the short of the time we could not discuss the MCQ. For MCQ I will be making another video. Till then just wait and go through the lesson beautifully. Write the question and answer from the text, and also develop the vocabulary. Write the unfamiliar words and phrases. With this, let me conclude. Thanks you all and have a very good day. Thank you.